sa isa pang topic. Sa pag-iimbestiga ni Bato at ni Bongo sa mga sarili nila sa Senado. Hanggang kailan talaga? Hanggang sa dulo talaga hindi aamin. Wala talaga sila kinalaman. Hirap talaga itong mga tao pagwalaan.
Hard copy this morning. We have with us House Quad Committee Overall Chairman, Congressman Robert Ace Barbers. Representative Barbers, good morning.
Good morning, Karen. Good morning po sa ating mga kababayan. Thank you for having me.
A lot of bombshells dropped in the Quad Committee hearing. I want your reaction first with the possibility of the Senate. Senator Bongo, Senator Bato de la Rosa possibly holding their own hearings related to what was revealed in the Quadcom.
Well, that is within the rules of Congress. No, I think there are no prohibitions as far as conducting a committee hearing on the same subject matter, no, or maybe a parallel investigation between the House and the Senate. Since there are no prohibitions, I believe that they have all the right to do that. But again, no,
ang problema nga dito, ang iimbestigahan nila yung sarili nila. Yun lang ang problema dito. Paano man yung mangyayari? Ang lalaki ka nun, iimbestiga ng sarili. Siyempre, pabor na lahat sa sarili. Sabi sa atin si Duterte doon kasi mga kampi niya.
the bigger question that should be asked is that why would you investigate yourself in your own committee? No, and other questions may pop up just like that.
And you mentioning why would you investigate yourself? The other questions are, will you...
Ang problema, tama yung tanong ni Karen, ba't may imbestiga ng sarili mo? Oh, ba't may imbestigahan? Sebastian, yari kayo ngayon. Ang problema nga, Sebastian, ang naimbestiga nila, sarili nila. Ano yun?
To be using the hearing to essentially protect yourself after the accusations in the Quad Committee. Is this the use of power to essentially exonerate yourself?
I don't want to put it that way, Karen, that they're going to use this committee hearing in the Senate just to exonerate themselves. No? In the first place, the Quadcom is not accusing anyone. We're just hearing issues and hearing testimonies coming from all witnesses who wish to share their information on the subject matter that we are deliberating on. These are the POGOs, illegal POGOs, extrajudicial killings, illegal drugs, and public accountability. And in the conduct of our hearing in the Quad, witnesses are coming out and saying things that have implicated other personalities. And since there are other personalities being implicated, we wanted to hear the other side of the coin, so to speak, no? And inviting those implicated to use this venue in order to share their information naman on their side, no? So that there will be a balance of views. Unfortunately, those that we have invited have not accepted our invitation yet. And I believe it is all within their rights, no? We will not question that since they are members of Congress as well. We will be respectful.
Yung sinasabi niya siguro yung kay Pulong, inimbitahan na si Pulong pero no show pa rin. Okay. May mga gusto daw itanong si Pulong pero ayaw niya umattend. Paano yun? Mas maganda kasi umattend ka para mas ikaw mismo ang sumagot o magtanong doon sa mga gusto mong tanongin. Luto naman yun, PJ.
Expecting because we have this so-called interparliamentary courtesy.
Okay. Now, I know you invited former President Duterte. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, during the second or third committee hearing of the Quad, there was an invitation by a motion made by Congressman Abante, the chair of the Committee on Human Rights, and Congressman Paduano or Dan Fernandez, who made that motion to invite the former president to share also.
Kasi meron ng invitation noon pa. Tapos na nasabi nila, naghihintay lang. Ayaw mo na pumunta.
Some information and insights as to how we are going to address the issue of extrajudicial killings. We're not accusing anyone, Karen. We have not even pointed out to anyone in this particular issue.
Ako rin ate Grace, nagising din ako. Talaga rin ako noon. Duterte rin po talaga ako. Pero nagising tayo na talagang kumbaga yung mga ebidensya, yung mga patunay, yung mga hindi lang kwento, hindi lang paninira ang nangyayari dito. May mga solid proof na talagang naloko tayo ng administrasyon ng Duterte. Kaya silang katotohanan dyan. Naisahan tayo. Napaniwala tayo na maganda ang plano nila, yung pala. Sa likod ng ganda noon, may mga masamang nangyayari.
As the one who is behind all these killings or the culprit in the implementation of these extrajudicial killings. No, we are not.
Okay, now the Duterte camp and Duterte supporters have called the Quad Committee hearings highly politicized. Let's backtrack a bit. Number one, this emanated from Pogo, right? When I was interviewing you many, many months ago, this was all about Pogo. Duterte supporters have asked online, how did this move into EJKs and the Duterte drug war when the goal was Pogo?
Well, originally, yes, you're correct. The subject that we are investigating in this quad is the proliferation of illegal pogos, and attached to these illegal pogos are all forms of criminality. There's kidnap for ransom, there's torture, there's murder, there's human trafficking, and of course, drug trafficking. Attached to this is the theory that we have come up with, that drug money, human trafficking money, and other proceeds from all forms of criminalities perpetuated by international syndicate operating in the country are actually using pogos to launder the proceeds. And that's how it all started. Then we went into the issue of the extrajudicial killings because you cannot detach EJK from the implementation of the war on drugs. There were thousands of lives killed with
thousands ang namatay. Yan ang isipin niyo, thousands. Hindi 100 lang. Hindi isa, hindi dalawa. Kung hindi thousands, Ganon karami ang kinatumba ng mga uniform na may reward system. Ay, sorry. Sorry. Wait lang to, lumapit sa akin yung anak ko.
Without justification, so to speak. And the only justification we hear from the authorities back then was just nanlaban. No?
But then you have Duterte supporters asking, how would the Quad Committee hearing equate the JK killings to Pogos?
Okay. The Pogo...
What is the connection?
Okay.
When the president has repeatedly denied, the former president has repeatedly denied that he had a policy on extrajudicial killing, so to speak.
Well, we have to look at the total picture, Karen. The criminals or the syndicate operating in the country with several crimes being committed, they have proceeds in these criminal activities. And how do they legalize all this money coming from illegal sources is through POGOs.
Yes. Kaya connected rin po yung Pogo dito. Ha? Connected dito ang Pogo. Ito yung isa sa mga naging source of funds para mabigyan ng reward yung mga police na may mga napatumba, mga addict o kahit inosente nga di ba? Ginamit nga kasi nila yung pera para mapakita na ang Duterte administration walang pinipili. Kuno. Pero marami pala ang pinipili. Ay, Diyos ko.
And one of those crimes that have been committed in order to raise funds is drug trafficking, human trafficking, and murder, because there were kidnap or ransom cases as well. In fact, there were
Halos lahat ng kriminal lang
abductions, illegal abductions being perpetrated by this Chinese, no, against another Chinese.
Thank you, ate, sa pag-drop by, ate. Thank you so much. Ate, kung hindi mo nakikita agad ang notification, may problema ang ko. Nagkaroon siguro ng problema ang channel natin. Konti tayong viewers ngayon kasi ang iba daw hindi po nanonotify. Kaya tsagaan muna tayo na bilang lang tayong nanonood. Bilang lang ang nanonood sa akin ngayon. Tsagaan muna tayo. Sa tsagaan lang talaga to. Tataas lang yan ulit.
So, we see that there is a pattern. We see that there is a link. That is why there was a necessity to create a much bigger committee in order to investigate this particular wide issue.
Okay. Now, the revelations of retired police Colonel Druyina Garma claiming that there was an assembly before former President Duterte took office and that he had ordered.
Mario, yan talaga dapat ang solusyon natin. Huwag talaga dapat iboto sila Bato at Bongo. Kasi once matalo yan, dalawang yan, 1,000% ipapatawag yun ng Quadcom. Oo. 1,000% ipapatawag yun ng Quadcom. Pag naging ano na lang sila, simpleng marumayan.
That the Davao model reward system be in place in a national scale with figures ranging.
Yung revelasyon doon ni Garma na yung reward system ng Davao ginawang pang buong Pilipinas. At ang pinagawa na doon si Leonardo. Isang malaking revelasyon yun Next week yan, sa Martes.
From, I believe, was it mentioned 50,000 to 1 million?
I recall that she mentioned the lowest was about 20,000 and the highest was about 1 million pesos.
Yeah, so 20,000 to 1 million. You want to continue investigating the alleged use of the intelligence funds of then President Duterte. Let's talk about that. Is there enough evidence to show and prove that the intelligence funds of former President Duterte were used for the rewards?
Well, honestly, Karen, it was just an idea raised by, if I'm not mistaken, Congressman Benny Abante, that the reward money could have come from intelligence fund, but we all know that the intelligence fund or the confidential fund is the most difficult fund to really scrutinize because of its nature. That's why it's called intelligence and confidential. So although there are limitations to the use of these funds, but it would take a much deeper investigation and scrutiny if we really want to get to the bottom of it. But again,
kung magtutuloy-tuloy pa rin to, itong Quadcom, sa totoo lang, ang dami rin ng gastos nito sa kada hearings. Ang dami pinapakain. Ang konsumo ng pagkain dyan, mangkano na yan, pwede nga umabot ng hundreds to thousands. Pwede nga umabot ng milyon. Kaya, actually, habang tumatagal, mapapao talaga ang expenses ng government dito. Pero, kung may mangyayari talaga sa Quadcom at meron talaga dito managot, edi mas maganda. Sana ganun nga ang mangyari. Kasi kung walang mangyayari dito, nagsasayang tayo ng pera, sa totoo lang. Pero naniniwala ako na may mangyayari dito at may mananagot dito sa Quadcom na to.
It's just
for sure, isa dyan sa mga may init. Sila Garmo, automatic na yan. Mananagot na talaga yan, sila Leonardo. Pero si Bato, si Bongo at si Duterte hinihintay ko.
A source, a probable source. There's no evidence at the moment as I speak that would definitely say that the reward money came from the intelligence funds. But other sources could also be, one is STL, as what Congressman Dan Fernandez has been saying. The other one could be the Lotto proceeds from PCS.
Ano yan ate, halo-halo yan. Pwedeng confidential fund plus Pogo money. Kasi si Duterte nagpa-legalize niyan. Saka nag-introduce ng Pogo. Tandaan nyo ha, saan naging pa-introduce ng Pogo. Kung may pera sa dyan, nagkaroon pa ng dagdag funds. Confidential pwede, Pogo pwede rin talaga. So, talagang gurgur talaga kung gurgur, di ba? Ang dami pera. Kasi yun nga, ang dami rin namatay na inosenteng tao. Hindi lang mga addict or whatever, di ba? Yun ang totoo dyan. Yun ang kinakainisan ng lahat. Kasi hindi lahat kriminal ang mga nagurgur.